Okay, so today, um, during our penny roll hunt, we found what appears to be a very special penny. And as soon as I don't want to say as soon as I saw it, but I found it upside down, so I didn't see the obverse until I flipped it over. And it's in very nice condition, but that might be a strike through. Might not. But here, I'm going to let you look at this coin for a second and see if you can figure out what I'm going to say next. All right, we're going to look at the date, the liberty, and the motto. I can only go a little closer without losing. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, if you've looked at enough wheat cents, you know instantly what's going on with the liberty. And then we have the motto, which even the motto has something interesting on it. Okay. So when it comes to, I'm going to read it for you. I did this in the video, but I'm going to do it again. And I also have up on the screen what a typical 1941 wheat cent looks like. So you could always reverse. We're going to look at it again. So let's look at what a typical 1941 wheat cent looks like. Okay. And really, it's the liberty, right? The liberty is what we want to focus in on a little bit. What do you notice the difference between this liberty and our liberty? Well, very easily you can see the separation and the spacing between the letters, right? There's a lot of space between the letters. So, and it's a P, it's not a Denver, it's not a San Francisco, it's the same one that we have. There's a lot of space, and what do you notice here with the spacing and the liberty? Camera's having difficult time. Oh, that looks very clear. What do you notice here with the spacing? Why does that look so clear for? Hmm. You can see the T is actually like overlap with the Y, right? And you can see in between, so the T is that. The T is overlap with the Y. The R, you can see the separation between the R. So there's a primary image and there's a secondary image. Okay, there's a primary image and a secondary image. And basically, and the same thing with the date. It looks like there could be some separation on the date also, the 9 and the 4. But I would have to say if there's any. Okay, now I got it back. I lost it for a second. I have to say if there's any the name of this error would probably be the extra thickness, which is the O classics. So we're gonna read together what the extra thickness double die is. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I never knew before I started doing penny roll hunting and I started to learn what the different classes are. Okay. I think you can read the whole thing right there. Very good. All right. All right. The Class 6 double die, or distended hub doubling, the only class of double die variety that remains somewhat of a mystery with regards to how it is caused is the class 6 double die. The appearance of the class 6 double die variety is extremely different from that found on double dies in other classes. In all the other classes of double die varieties, there is usually a distinct separation in the images characterized by a noticeable difference in the relief of the primary and secondary images. So there's less of a noticeable difference between the primary and secondary image in the class 6 double die as opposed to the other 8 double dies. In some cases, this extra thickness can be quite extreme. Sometimes certain letters or parts of the design will almost appear slightly twisted. Occasionally, there is a marked difference between the relief of the primary and secondary image, with the secondary image showing this extreme extra thickness. The variations themselves can be quite fascinating. And here goes an example of it. And you can see how thick the numbers are, right? And in the 9, you can see the primary, and the secondary is here. That's bulging out of the side. This is the primary, right? It's the regular 9. And then if this was the primary, it would keep going around. It would be the primary 9, but it's not. This is the primary 9. And this is the one that's bulging out. Okay, that's the secondary. This is the Lincoln Cent double die obverse that we have listed in our files as 1943 DD001. Is a classic and very strong example of the class 6 double die showing extreme extra thickness on the date, especially the lower 9, which is what I just showed you. Now here, you can also see the extra thickness in Liberty, and this is what we got. Ours is so thick that they're almost touching it. There's still a lot in this example. There's a lot of space. Look at the space and this is an extra thickness. Look at the space in between the letters. All right, pause it here, or remember where this is at, so you could back when we're going to look at ours now and go back to this to look. Ours is so thick, there's almost no space between the letters. Well, the teeny y, the T, yeah, the T and the Y are overlapping. All right, you can still see some good space between the I and the B, and the B and the E and the R, and definitely the R. Now the R and the T, there's even less space, and you can see the secondary image to the right on the R, and to the right on the T. The T is over the Y. I have to be honest with you, I've never seen one like this before. And the nice thing about this coin is that it's actually in pretty good shape. And then of course we have the T, whatever's going on up there, which looks like an E above the T. That's really weird. You see that there, right? It's really weird. All right. So anyway, to me, this is a class 6. I believe this is a class 6. What's it worth? That's the next question that comes out. All right, let me go back. So I'm going to go back to eBay. I'm going to put class 6 penny, class 6 ever. Just to see what some of it sold for. And we'll take it from there. Hopefully they're on pennies. They're on, nothing comes up as sold as a class 6 double die. Well, okay, let me just put double die wheat cent. Okay, so for you got all these. They're not. I have to go highest first because they're showing all the BS ones on the low end. Okay, and I'm not going to look at the 1955 true double die. Those are pretty wild. We have a FS 102, 1936, very fine condition. Here goes another one. What is this? A very fine 20. Ours is probably better condition. All right, let's look at this penny. And let's see if we can see the oh, okay. And what did he put this as? An FS 101, which is interesting because to me it also looks like extra thick. So they did designate this as a double die. I think our coin is in better condition than this one. See, I would have thought that was extra thickness also, but it's sold for $100 or so, maybe $80, and it's graded. But it's a VF20 and it's the FS 101. I don't know. Is that the class one? Let me just see what comes up on the FS 101 era. The double die, a type of error of coin design elements observed on the front coin duplicated due to a misalignment of the die due to the striking process. FS 101. How do I identify? Well, I don't know. So maybe this is a 101. To me, it's extra thickness. So I'm gonna put this, and again, it's in better condition, and condition is everything. I'm gonna put this at about $50. I don't want to go crazy and say it's $100 penny. It might be 100. It might be $200. It might be 300. This is such a great example. I've never seen the T over the Y like that. It could be a $300 penny, but I would have to say ungraded the way it is, it's $50. It's better than this one, that's for sure. See, I thought this would have been extra thickness also, but they're saying 101, and I don't know where they're seeing the doubling at. Maybe it's in the model or the date. But to me, it's weaker than this is. Okay, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed it. This is part of the process of when you find a coin, right? Obviously, I most of the coins that I look at are pennies, and you really need to know what the errors are, especially the 9 classes of double dies. Other errors you can find, die clashes, strike throughs. To me, they're a little bit more obvious in what they are. But these double dies sometimes can be a little difficult to identify. To me, this one here is probably easier than some of the others. I mean, you can see, it looks like there's separation in the 4 and the 9. It's funny how the 9 almost looks like the other one on the screen. But it's really in the Liberty here that you can see how thick the letters are. Let's see if we could do this let's see if we can take a picture of this. Press the little picture. I'll put the light on. No, I don't like it with the light on. Yeah, it looks better like that. You can see the separation on the E. I just realized that my hand's shaking a little bit. See the line going up on the left side of the E and on the A. And the Y. But that T over Y is pretty ridiculous. It might be $100 penny or 200. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please click like and subscribe. This is the process of, if you find something that looks odd, how you go about trying to classify it. That's pretty wild too. Looks like an E above the T. Okay, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.